It's another Wednesday afternoon, running late, apologetically, but we are still here to talk sex. So I hope you have your questions ready, and I also hope that you have taken the time to start sharing this video so we can get a whole lot more persons joining us as we have the discussion on sex. And then of course we have to always remind persons, why is it so important for us to have these discussions? Because the truth be told, if I know then what I know now, I probably would have made so many different decisions. And so it's always good to get the head engaged with information before. They normally say men have two heads, one up here and one down there. So it's always important to get the head engaged before you try and get the other head engaged. And the information is actually what does it. So of course, when we talk sex, we talk about all the things that are good and healthy to eat while having sex. All right. This afternoon, what foods are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the foods that are helpful in making and maintaining male hormones. Yay! Because there are many men out there who are having hormone issues. Some of these hormone issues could be because, of course, if you grew up a lot around females, you learn to exercise a lot of female emotions. It's unlike the man who grows up hunting every day. He's going to have more male hormones. Also, when you grow up a lot around females, females eat food for females. Very few females prepare meals for their males. And for that reason, eating a lot of foods that the females prepare for females can cause men to have a lot more female hormones than usual. For example, say the female likes chicken. Chicken has a lot of female hormones, estrogen, and of course it's going to make the men a little bit more on the tenderer female side. Say you grew up around men who understand that the bigger, stronger the animal that you eat, the bigger, the stronger and more fearless the man is likely to become, because he becomes what he eats. So the man says, I want a whole cow to eat. Of course, he's going to have a whole lot more fearless male testosterone, male hormones. Right. But here's the magic of it now. There are certain food kinds that can also stimulate male or female hormones. All right. What are they? You're asking, right? So let's look at it. Nuts. You remember last week we spoke about the importance of seeds. Again comes the nuts. So it's important to have a lot of nuts in your diet. And if you blend the nuts, so say you decide to have almond, sunflower, flaxseed, sesame seeds, because you know sesame seed is said to have your only love food known to have your love vitamin, and there's lots of stories told about it. Hopefully one day we'll mention a few of them. And of course you can have your peanut. If you are having peanut, sometimes it's best to parch the peanut, because peanut carries an oil that affects the hormones. And so most times persons lightly parch the peanut, so not the heavily parched peanut that is often sold on the market. And cashew is another one that we say the same thing for. You might need to get the oil out of the cashew, because it also affects the hormones. All right. I know we're almost running out of our time that is allotted to talking about foods, but I just want to share a recipe with you. And here's the recipe. So you select the nuts that you want to have. You want to enjoy your juice. And you blend it. So say you want to have a little almond, a little flaxseed, a little pumpkin seed. And of course, remember, persons living in Jamaica or living where you can get the real live pumpkin seeds. Nothing is wrong with taking it in the hull, in the hard part that's on the outside, blending it, straining it for this recipe. A little coconut milk is also good in this recipe. Tip a little salt if you're using the coconut milk, because you know coconut milk sometimes can create a little bowel action for some people. And then now, after you've got the milk by blending, just throwing a little water, blending, you've got the milk. You can add your vegetables. Yay! It's necessary in order to create the hormone balance. So you grab a little spinach, you grab a little callaloo, you get your little okra, and you just throw in a little vegetable in your nut milk. And it balances your male and female hormones just by doing that. Of course, there are some other foods that we will look at as we go on the journey that will also continue to balance male and female hormone, but we'll highlight them as we approach certain topics. All right, so that's about the food part. And Eugene is saying...
They have questions.
I have questions.
Yes.
What's the question?
All right, so fellow TikTokers. So there's a hello, there's a good evening. There's someone asking about an invite, and then someone is saying, if there is anything for fatigue? Is there anything for fatigue?
The first question was?
Is there anything for fatigue?
Yes,
fatigue.
And before that, what was it that you said?
Oh, there is another host that wanted to go live.
Someone that wanted to go live?
Yes.
But hold a minute first. We don't want to lose.
Yes.
The show is 15 minutes, so we don't want to lose the time. But we want to entertain the question. So the person is asking about something for fatigue. So I'm going to ask the person to tell us, where are you calling from? Which part of the world are you calling from? So that possibly I can find something in your territory to tell you.
Maasai roots.
The Maasai is what the person is overseas, so maybe we can also guide them with their diet and other things. So while we tell them about the Maasai roots, we can tell them about other things.
All right, there's this person that's saying hi, and another person is saying, where are you located?
Okay. All right, I need to do a video to help persons to understand where we're located. But we're in Jamaica. Yeah. Beautiful island of Jamaica. Or blessed enslaved island home. All right, of Jamaica. But that's where we are.
Where in Jamaica are you?
We're in Jamaica. We're in Montego Bay presently. But can I go back to using the time to keep focus on educating? Okay, my son Eugene likes to cue me behind the camera.
All right, there's another question.
Yes.
Good evening. You never gave the... Oh, there's a person that's saying you didn't give them the full erection recipe as yet. Still waiting.
No, I gave the full erection recipe. The nuts with the vegetable, just use your carrot, spinach, okra, and mix it. Put it in the blender with a magic bullet this time. You can, a magic bullet is okay. Put it in a blender or anything you have that can pound it. And then, you can add your coconut water to it. You can add plain water to it. And then you just drink it. You can drink it with cane juice if you want. If you want to add, don't add any citrus, please. No fruit at all should be added to it. It diminishes it. Don't add any sweetener to. You can. The only sweetener, a little cane juice is allowed. Coconut water is allowed. Plain water is allowed, and you blend it with the nuts and the vegetables, and that is all that you need to drink. And you don't have to drink. Remember, and I really am glad that the Most High allowed me to remember. that when you are drinking this drink, you have to remember that if you have a kidney issue, you might not be ready for this drink. And if you are drinking this drink every day, you've got to decrease your meat intake and your other protein intake because you don't want to overload the kidneys. So you might need to increase your water intake. You might need to become a little bit more physical so that you can expel the waste protein or uric acid from the body. And you also want to be mindful about the meat intake as well as your nuts and peas and beans, so that you don't overload. The kidneys don't become too toxic. The bloodstream, all of that don't become too toxic.
There's another person saying good evening. There's a person saying what can help to regulate the period. So if they miss their period for a very long time, what can?
Okay. All right. What it seems like I'm going to have to dedicate another session, another day, for generalized questions, which is a good idea. But I'm going to tell you the truth. My sister, I really want to answer you, but the truth is that this session is for the men that are in trouble and us women that are in trouble. The men need information as to how to protect their manhood and to help them even beyond 40s to maintain manhood. I really want to help our men. So I'm going to answer you quickly, sister, and then I'm going to jump back into the topic for the afternoon, which is really to help men to understand the different positions on the penis and the importance of and how to protect it and the importance how to use it, that knowledge, to your benefit. All right, and if I'm wrong, and if anybody else think that I should be more general, please voice it here because this is for you. This is not about me and what I think. So if you think we should just be general, or you want us to just focus on our men, we can vote on it and make a decision. All right. So my sister that is asking about period pain or period flow. Irregular periods.
Yes.
What to take for irregular periods? Great. The hormone recipe that I cited earlier is excellent for irregular periods because your periods are regulated by hormones. And whenever they go off, whenever they start giving problems, because the hormones are off. And so therefore it's important to increase more foods that will help to maintain this balance. Another thing is that there are herbs that are extremely helpful in maintaining the balance. So a lot of persons will always hear me talk about vervain, which is one of my favorite herbs in terms of balancing the hormones. We do sell a hormone balancing formula, and the vervain is a part of it, but it is not the main one that we depend on. So you'll realize that ours might be a little bit stronger because we go way up into the mountains for some other herbs that are more stronger in tonic effect. So while you can use the vervain every day, our hormone balancing formula is recommended for the 3 months duration, and oftentimes no longer, unless the situation is a little bit